got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Hey, everyone. Happy Wednesday.
Update.
My name is Janelle Villiers. That over there is Winston, and we are your hosts of Say That Channel, where we are unapologetic about talking about the ugly come up of entrepreneurship. So you know how we've all heard those stories about how people start off with nothing and then all of a sudden have massive success. But what happens in the middle? What happens during the ugly come up? Well, that is what we're here to talk about. We are unapologetic about getting into those stories, the mindset, what we need to look out for. And sometimes we have some guests who come on and answer the topic question of the day with us. And it's been amazing to have all of our guests. Absolutely. But we only have 25 minutes, whether it's just me and Winston or if we have guests, we only got 25 minutes. And when we run out of time, what do? Oh, no. Well, join us over on Patreon. That's a link right there. It's also in the description box. If you're on YouTube, you can look in the description of the episode itself. There will be a link there that will take you to Patreon. Become a Patreon member and you get access to all of our overtime segments with all of our guests. It is a treasure trove of information and insight for all of our guests. So definitely make sure you check that out. Also, please, it is amazing how many people come and watch our show but don't subscribe. If you enjoy what you've been watching, you've been getting so much value from us, please do us a favor. It's absolutely free. Give the gift of Christmas and just subscribe. Subscribe to our channel. It actually means so much more than you can imagine because this tells the algorithm that what we're sharing is important and shares it with others. Of course, hit the notification bell and all the things, but please subscribe. That is a big, big, big gift for us. So thank you so much in advance. I'm really excited for today's show.
Say that. And drop it in the chat if anyone else catches Janelle saying Trevor Trove instead of treasure trove. That's for her fascination with Trevor Noah, if you know.
It is.
All right, here's the topic. Let's go.
Is your business in line with your purpose?
Talk about it.
Great question. Well, we're excited because it is not just me and Winston today. We've got a very special guest with us today. He is a father. He is a husband. He is an entrepreneur. He is the CEO and founder of City to Inspire. Everybody, please welcome to the stage, Donley Furguson.
Our next guest.
Hey, what an entrance. Thank you so much for that. That was fire.
Oh, welcome, Donley. We're super excited to have you with us. For folks who are meeting you for the first time, please let us know a little bit about your entrepreneurship journey. How did you arrive to where you are now?
For over 30 years, I was in the hotel and hospitality industry in leadership roles, taking people to the next level, certainly meeting the client's demands. And there came a point, and certainly most of us probably had this point. Mine was during the pandemic, where I realized that there was an opportunity for me to share more with the world than the one job that I had was able to allow me to share with those people that were with me. So I took it upon myself during that particular time to start to build my consulting business, City to Inspire, with an opportunity, or the objective is to help people get out of their own way, to find their purpose in life, and to make those profits, to continue to keep that associate engagement and that guest engagement score up during that particular time. And I've been successful to this particular point, to the fact where I've been able to parlay that, to flip that into opportunities to speak to larger crowds and groups about how to take their guest experience, their associate experience, and all of those things to the next level with an alignment to purpose.
Very
Wow,
cool.
that is really amazing. All right, well then, you now must understand why Donley is the exact right person to answer today's question. So Donley, let us know then, is your business in line with your purpose?
My purpose, if you look at I have a couple of slogans and statements, but the one that I lean upon is I connect people with purpose. It's all derived from a mantra that I said. It says people obtaining purpose, maximizing potential, creating prosperity. Those 4 P's are the driving force of why I'm able to not only talk about the subject, but show people how to align their business where they get value from purpose, as just opposed to just aligning themselves with profit margins.
Yeah. Which is what keeps businesses going at the end of the day.
People.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so what would you say? So, we have a ton of entrepreneurs who watch us and are part of our audience. So what would you say to the entrepreneur who's out there, who's starting to look at their business and maybe thinking, is my business in line with my purpose? What if it's not?
The amazing thing I think about a lot of us when we start a business, we started based off of something that we do really well. I cook pie, so I'm going to start a pie business. I write really well, so I'm going to start writing scripts for everybody. But those are based on what we have come to believe are reasons for us to start a business journey. But when we dig down deep, which we have to do, we have to take the time and examine ourselves, and we dig down deep and we ask ourselves, why are we doing these particular things? Making pies is not at all a negative experience. It should be a great experience. But are you really doing it because you have a desire to show people or to teach people how to really truly eat with the ingredients that they have in the house, how they can repurpose certain things to make a better conception of a pie, whatever it happens to be. So we got to dig a little bit deeper to get to that purpose, and that will propel our business to levels that we've yet to see.
So, okay. So I love this. In one of the businesses that Winston and I were a part of, it was a network marketing business, and they talked a lot about finding your why. And I'm curious, have you found with the people that you've worked with, and even with yourself, have you found that your why can help you towards your purpose or help you discover it? Or do they feel completely unrelated to each other?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that was popularized by Simon Sinek, finding your why. And I think that's an important factor, but I don't think it's deep enough. I think a why is a surface view of what you think at that particular time. Why do I make these pies? Why do I do these particular things? I really truly want to build humanity. All of that starts on the surface. I think that it's a combination of why and what. Why am I doing this? And what is it that I'm doing? And if you alternate between those two things on a consistent basis, your why and your what start to become this thing that's your purpose. And it starts to narrow down, because each day that why is going to change just a little bit. And that thing that you do to accomplish that why, that what thing is also going to modify. So I think it's a combination of why and what to find that purpose that we're all longing to pursue.
But do you think that it has to be necessary that, all right, let's say in terms of having a business, there are obviously components where you can add others into it. Is it necessary that, let's say, as the person running the business, I have to have this? Or is it about I can staff myself around people that find purpose in whatever processes I'm asking them to do throughout the day? Do you know what I mean?
I think I understand. I think what we're asking and what you're asking is, can you start a business or can you have a business with not necessarily all of these components of why? And I think the answer, or the short answer, is yes.
Yeah, successful business.
The bigger answer is, how long do you want it to last? How long do you want it to endure? What type of impact do you want to have? When we went to school, we all sold those candy bars, right? I know I sold some, and my why at that time was because I wanted to get the most candy bars. And sometimes I did well and sometimes I didn't, but it was a business at that moment, but it wasn't something that I cared for. I wanted to endure. I just wanted the quick fix, the quick prize, and then I wanted to get out. Yeah. But for an entrepreneur, you can really truly have a business, but if you want to make the impact that is lasting, that can be generational, businesses, a typical business lasts for 60 years. A lot of these businesses that have existed in the past, they are coming up on their deadline. And if they don't know why they're doing it, who are they going to pass it to? Yeah. Who are they going to scale it to? Who's going to inherit that? That business will die on the vine because they've done well. They've made their money. They got out the game. They went and retired and fished. and then their business languishes on the line because they don't have a reason, or people don't have a reason to keep it going.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
Guys, if you have any questions, please throw it in the chat so Donley can answer.
Shout out to Vincent. Hi, Vincent and Becky. I see you guys. Hey, Anna. Hey, Jeannie. We've got a lot of people saying hello. Yes, please go ahead and put your questions because we want to make sure that you guys get your questions answered as well. One of the things that I was thinking as you were talking is you talked a lot about longevity and how long do you want the business to go? And so perhaps maybe that's where people get lost. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Like if you're doing the business just because you're good at it and you can make some money from it, but it doesn't seem purpose driven, then is this something that you want to pass down? Is this something you want to create legacy with? How long do you feel like this business will be going? Are these some of the questions that we should now be asking ourselves?
I think you make a great point, and this is my entire focus moving forward, is that not only is it a change of business mindset, but it's a change of paradigm. How do we now view the world? And that's the mission that I'm on this year. But to answer the question, we've all been in that position and we wanted to be an entrepreneur, and we started this great quest and we started working, whether it was, like I said, that example about the pie shop, and then we got into the rhythm of it and it became a job. And everything, we got up in the morning and we dreaded, we looked at the books, that person's not doing right, and you don't want to talk to them because you don't want to disrupt them, and your business now becomes a burden because it's a business. It's a money-making machine for you. And when you have a purpose-driven business, your money is going to be made, but the thing that's going to be most important to you is the impact on the people that work for you, that come and frequent your business, and that hear about you in the community. And it's a totally different perspective. You want your money. You have to have your money. But whether you make all of that money or not for that particular day, the thing that's going to be most important to you is, did I get my message across? Did the pies really truly make people understand that they could fix things in their closet or their cabinet and pull them out? Did this particular thing do this? Did I impact the people that worked for me? And did I make their lives better as a result? Now, again, I'm not one person who's going to say money's not important. Money is important to do these things, but it's got to be a connection to purpose and that profit that's a lot more refined than it is nowadays.
Great point, man.
Yeah,
I do see that we have some questions, so let's we got one from Vincent.
What are your thoughts on how owners and entrepreneurs can stay motivated during moments of inactivity or low production? Oh, this is a great question.
You know what, the thing I've learned about purpose, and this is probably all of us who are invested in a purpose-driven business do this. Every day we wake up with one goal in mind, and that is to move our purpose just a little bit further. And when you have that mindset as a business owner with that purpose-driven mindset, even if you're not making the money that you want to make, you're going to wake up in the morning gassed, excited, ready to say, what thing can I do today to move this? You're going to set your tactics on a daily basis. You're going to put them into practice, and you're going to continue to reap the fruits of that. You're going to be discouraged when they don't hit, but that discouragement for an entrepreneur with that mindset is going to last that quick. You'll be like, and then you're going to get right back to the next particular thing. You lose money and you lose time and you have no purpose. All your body starts to do is diminish. You start to droop, and everything becomes a burden, even when you win.
Yeah, that part. Even when you win or you're making money, it seems burdensome. It becomes a job.
Yeah, because you got to go. You got to do it again. You got to do it again. You got to do it again. Yeah.
Shirley's messing up. Oh, I got to talk to her. Oh, I can't get the loan at the bank. Oh, and all of that. And you sit down one day and you ask yourself, why am I doing this? And that's the question you should ask at the start.
Oh, good point.
All right, that's great.
Rebecca.
Keep the questions coming.
Yes,
Rebecca
please.
says, in the trend of being entrepreneurs, does it kill the motivation of longevity and commitment to sustain a good business? Because it's a trend.
I like that I was going to say she pointed that out. That is the thing. The term did start getting used a lot after during the pandemic.
Hey, exactly. And we can't escape those trends. You know, we go on YouTube or TikTok today and there's 20,000 dances that we all need to participate in, right? But the entrepreneur with the purpose-driven mindset understands that these trends exist. They may take advantage of some of them. They may involve themselves in some of them as it fits their purpose-driven method or message. But in the end, when the purposes wither, because they will, and the leaves calm down and the windstorm stops, that person who is that purpose-driven person will be that rock that's unmoved, unshaken, unflappable, and unchanged, because they still have one mission or one desire, and that's to move their goal forward, that purpose forward. And they don't need to be told or trended or any of those things to know that they have meaning in the work that they're performing.
You know, I love that. And to add to that, what came to mind is there are things that we can call them trends until they move society to a point. And I'll use the example of, let's say, like a cell phone. It's a commonplace thing now, something that at one point, and many obviously prior to remember, this was a very trendy thing. Very few people had it. It wasn't accessible, obviously, to as many. But at some point, it's now a necessity for us to have. And I personally think being an entrepreneur in how I see just financially where people are going to need to be, besides a 9-to-5 or a traditional job, I think you're going to have, and many people already have something else they're doing to make money. And that's not a normal thing. I remember a time where people had a job and they were able to sustain their lifestyle from a single income. I just think that trend is going out of style. You're going to need multiple incomes to live in the world we're moving towards.
Let's talk about that mindset real quick, because that's the pervasive mindset right now. I call it the static now, but that mindset that our parents had, where we work the one job and just live our lives, that is the mindset that basically is a deteriorative or a deconstructive mindset. You know, mom and dad went to worked 40 hours, 80 hours, came home, watched TV, laid on the couch, and went out and did it again the next day. Now people are starting to realize or ask themselves the question, is this all there is? Is it eating, sleeping, TV, rent, wash, repeat? So purpose is percolating in the minds of many people right now. They just don't understand how to direct it. They direct it into the trends. They direct it into these fantastical moments. But purpose is alive, and it's something that we need to take hold of, because if we don't, well, it's not even going to be a question of we don't, because it's going to happen. So while it's happening, we need to invest ourselves in it, to understand it, so that way we can get ahead of the curve and take care of it. Because that generation that we came from had, I don't want to say they didn't have any purpose, but their purpose was so small.
We've outgrown. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've just, and I look at it as a shift. I truly think we've gone through, and I think the pandemic really highlighted for many people, what am I doing? Especially when the routine of, to your point about getting up and going to work, when that got broken and you had to really sit there and be like, wait, what am I doing?
Exactly.
Yeah. Hence all the businesses that started. Go ahead, Joe.
Exactly. So good energy, right? We just need good direction with it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I love this, because now you have a lot of people who were doing 9-to-5s and still are, to be quite honest. There are a lot of people who still have their 9-to-5 while working on their business on the side. And so I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your experience yourself about shifting from one to the other, because I believe that a mindset shift also is necessary. So you could be purpose driven, but there are some things that I feel like also need to be adjusted. So what are some of the things that you have found to be really helpful in the movement of that?
I think that the term mind shift is too small. I call it a paradigm shift. I mean, because a mind shift, we can kind of do that, but it's got to be a total societal move. And this is what I've learned by looking at it from both sides. The people who employ people and the people who are employed still have to have that synergy together. And the people who are employers right now still have that people or that profit over people mindset. Yeah. While the people who are trying to work for them, so they can also harvest their own purpose, they're having to work for people who still have that mindset. So it's got to be a complete shift. The way that I've been able to translate that into the things that I'm doing is through direct conversations with people, interaction and study, and implication or application of all of the processes that I think that I can do to impact the change on the entire paradigm shift. Whether it's taking somebody and showing a different type of care for them. I've had people who work for me who couldn't make it to work on time, and then the first thing I would do back in the day was those people 3 write-ups and they're gone. Now, as I start to understand purpose, sometimes there are days when I have to pick up the load for that person because they're having a bad day or I'm having a bad day. So some of these smaller shifts, smaller conversations is the only way to build this momentum to get this stone rolling. And I do this one person at a time, similar to how we're doing now. We're having a good conversation about this entire paradigm shift, and people probably have never even thought about it, or they thought about it, but they can't put a name to it.
Yeah, or have language, to your point, around it.
Right.
Because it is about having these type of conversations in a workplace where it's I don't know to say taboo, but in some sense it's not normal break room talk. I would say. I feel like a lot of what I remember was a lot of just frustration, to your point, or railing against whatever management was trying to pass down, or a lot more of that kind of stuff. Until to Janelle's point earlier, when we started our business, it then shifted where I felt like it was about freeing people's minds and trying to open them up to the idea of we do need to earn money, and there are other life experiences that we should be having and doing and building things, while we have this time that we have here.
I think, sorry. Oh, okay. Well, I one of the things as I'm listening to you guys that comes up for me is, I think also the reason why paradigm shift is what's necessary is because it's almost identity shift.
Yeah.
You go from identifying yourself as being this person that's just told what to do. And I think people want the freedom of being their own boss, but the truth is, like, there's some discipline that's required.
Absolutely.
There's I was just telling Donley, your calendar becomes your boss, like that's what your boss is, your calendar. And you have to be very disciplined with your time. And I think that's exactly where the purpose comes in, because if you don't have a purpose in your business, then it's easy to just be like, oh, I'll just kind of like do whatever, and like eventually things will happen because that's what you did at your job. Like at your job,
there you go,
barely enough to get paid, without getting fired, and then you think that like it's just going to carry over, but that's not it. And so if you have the purpose, I feel like that's only going to help with the shifting. And I really believe that the shifting comes with the identity bit. Like you don't identify as an employee, but you identify as somebody who has a purpose and is moving towards that to help and impact people in whatever that way is.
You're the boss.
Yeah.
There's nothing more detrimental to a person starting the business than to start it with the mindset of somebody who's working it. If they come in with the employee mindset, and once again, there's nothing wrong with being an employee. We have to contribute to somebody else's dream.
Right.
But if you're the dreamer, you have to come in with a different focus and a different understanding. And if you don't have that purpose and your focus is, how am I going to make money today? Then that's you're right back to a better and bigger headache of a job than you had when you left.
Yeah. And now you don't even have the structure that, let's keep it real, that many companies obviously have established.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Should you be working until 8 p.m.? Should you
point.
get up and work at 5 a.m.?
Good point.
What?
I say and binge watch that series tonight instead of doing A, B, and C. Yeah, exactly. All of those things stem from that mindset.
Knowing laughter.
You know what?
Same. That's why I said it.
So I want to. Well, go, Donley.
No, I was just going to continue to say that it's detrimental to those of us who are trying to grow the next society. We have an obligation, not only as people coming out of this mindset, but those who are creating the next one, to build with a healthy foundation. And if we continue to think like the last mindset thought, we will not achieve a future that we want. We perceive some far-fetched future with, Jetson cars and, tall buildings, and none of that will be possible if we don't do it today. Yeah. Today is when the Jetson car starts, or the tall buildings and all of those fantastic things. It starts with our mindset today, and that's the most difficult thing to get past.
So I love that you led us there. What I wanted to get into now is, what are some like tactile things that we can do, ways to implement? What are we reading? Like, where are we going to have or to aid in this shift? Because I think many, if you're watching, they're on their journey towards that. But what are some of the things or things you teach that can help people get there faster?
So to Janelle's point, one of the things that I teach first and foremost is organization. Time is that one resource that none of us can ever get back. Once it's spent, it's spent. We can lose money and we can gain it back. Time, it's gone. Mm-hmm. Once you sit down and understand, you have to really take the time to understand what it is and why it is. Those two things that I talked about. What am I going to do and why am I doing it? I'm going to sell hot dogs. Why are you selling hot dogs? Because I want to make money. Bzz, wrong answer. Yes, you're going to make money selling hot dogs, but why are you doing it? Because I want to feed my community. Okay, that's a little bit better, but now let's narrow that down. So that takes a little bit of time, but you can still start right where you are. Today, you start your hot dog stand, you want to feed people, but never leave it there, because as soon as you do, then... That's a cold cutoff.
That's our Sandman. No, this is really good.
Oh, this is amazing. Look, we are going to go into overtime so Donley can answer the rest of this question. So if you want to join us in overtime, it's in the description. So if you're watching this on your phone, you have to go underneath the video itself, and there's a description of the episode. You can find all of Donley's contact information there. I just put in the chat where you can go to Patreon as well. So if you're in the chat, you should see it populate where you can find us on Patreon. So that way you can join the conversation over time. Donley is a real person. You can find him on LinkedIn. We just showed him on Instagram. There he is on YouTube. He's got his own YouTube channel. Go follow Donley, become a part of his tribe of people, because this man is very, very wise and dropping a lot of nuggets. So
absolutely. This has been an absolute pleasure. Again, guys, join us over on Patreon. And if you have not done so already, subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so you know when we have another episode. But until we see you next time, as always, remember, you deserve the good life. Say that. We'll see you guys.